what's up? Life, love, entertainment, that's what we got. Yeah, big up the community, cause that's our spot. Heart to heart with the Virgo, dreadlock. Pretty girl, TishaRaye, booming down your block. Booming up the block, I'm with TishaRaye. 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 Booming up the block, I'm with TishaRaye.
What's going on, my boomers? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Boomin' on the Block with your girl TishaRaye. That's me. Today we're doing something a little different. Today we're not where we normally be, but you see the banner back there, of course, right? Boom. Anyway, so I got my girl all the way from Denver. Now, I'm going to tell you something about my girl. This girl right here is more than a sister. She's a mentor. She's my Virgo sister. She's someone I look up to. She's someone I cry to. She's someone I wish I could just hug every day. And it's my girl. She's a radio legend.
Oh, thank you, Mama.
Yes, it's my girl, TOSHAMAKIA. Hey, sis.
Hey, girl, I love you. I miss you. You look good.
Thank you. You
I'm
look
so
good.
proud of you.
It's like you ain't even...
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You're not even aging. What's going on?
I mean, I don't know, but that's a big compliment. Thank you.
That blonde. You is wearing that blonde?
I'm trying, honey.
You
I'm trying
are.
to let it grow out a little something. It's the water
It's so
out
cute.
here.
It's so cute. Okay, Tasha, what you been up to? You left me. You're in Denver. So what's going on?
First of all, that's not fair. And that's, you know what's so funny? I've been gone 2 years.
Yeah.
July was 2 years. A lot of people were like, hey, what are you doing? I left for growth. I didn't leave just to leave. I left for growth. I wanted to grow in this industry. I wanted to show women that we can make it. So I decided to take a leap of faith and come across the United States all the way to Denver, Colorado, and I love it. So I'm here at KS 107.5.
Yes.
Love my team. It's been crazy with the COVID situation, but it's been absolutely amazing. I love it here. The love I feel here is kind of close to North Carolina, but North Carolina has my heart. But I miss you guys. I mean, everything has been fantastic here. I cannot complain one bit.
Well, you know I miss you. I know everybody else is missing you. Period. Period. Okay, so Tasha, now you've been in this radio industry a long time. I called you a legend. Tell them how long you've been in the radio industry.
I've been in radio since I was oh my gosh, since I was a kid.
See?
I grew up in this music industry, so I've been in this. This is really all I know.
Yeah.
Every time I try to pull out to become a doctor or a nurse, honestly, because I wanted to help people, somehow I kept getting sucked into this industry. So I grew up in this music industry.
Yeah.
I started out as a singer, a songwriter, and then somehow it came into radio, which actually radio saved my life. So I've just been here my whole entire life.
So if it wasn't
radio.
But what if it wasn't radio? What would you be doing? Because I hear you saying singer, nurse. What would you really be doing? I
would have definitely stayed focused on school. But when I tell you that every time I wanted to get into school, become a doctor, go amongst that line, like every time somebody would reach out, you got to do this. Hey, you're interested in this.
Yeah.
It's just like when I left radio in 2013.
Yeah.
A lot of our people tap money. What are you doing? You got to get back in radio. Kyle Santillion out in Chicago. You got to get back in radio. So a lot of the people who I love and look up to, who are great friends of mine, somehow kept pulling me back when I was ready to give up in 2013 too. So I would be a doctor, but honestly, Tisha, it always pulled me back. Music always has been in my blood, and it's not cliche. It's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I know. I remember hearing some of your sounds, your little singing. Now, would you get back into singing?
No, I sing to my kids. I have said, my mom asked me about that a few weeks ago. Out here, we're looking for a church home. Yeah. So I would join the choir at church, but no.
And when I come visit, I'll come with you to church.
Yeah.
So I can hear you sing.
I can't wait for you to come up for a girls trip.
Oh, I cannot wait. Hey, I cannot wait. So, Tasha, look, it's October, so you know it is Breast Cancer Awareness. We had a dope host, Tanisha Gist, last week, and she just blessed us with so much. And this time, it's for domestic violence. And I know you're a sweetheart, and I've heard your story, and I know you are a survivor. Yes, so, can you just tell us a little bit about it? Just a little bit.
For me, I think it's hard to always share a little bit without kind of going into it, especially if, you know, and I'm sure with TishaRaye and Boomin, young girls are watching. They're trying to find the right women to connect to so that they find the right avenue for themselves. So for me, in short, as a child, I grew up great up until the age of 4. Was molested by my babysitter's son and a family member. So that kind of started some things. When I look at it, especially talk to my therapist, God bless her. Yeah. She needs a therapist herself. Yeah. But I realized it was a trickle-down effect. So it started with that, you know, I didn't have a father figure in my life that was in my life completely. And it's just a trickle-down effect, you know. I can't say it's that, what is it called that they call it, the daddy, what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? Like
the missing daddy syndrome type thing?
Yeah, I would say, I hate that reference.
Yeah.
But it's kind of something like that. So later on in my life, it took a toll. There was a lot of different things I went through in school, from molestation to being bullied to trying to take my own life to trying to find a partner who was a father figure. Now when I look back at it, it's just like you want somebody to love you, not love you like a dad, but give you what you never had so that you could feel complete, if that makes sense.
It does.
So for me, my first relationship was very unhealthy. Abuse is not just physical, somebody hitting you. Abuse is mental, it's emotional, it's physical, it's financial, it's spiritual. There's a lot of different types of abuse. Verbal, you know, somebody doesn't have to hit you in order to hurt you.
Right.
But for me, I was in a situation for half of my life with somebody that I trusted that took advantage of that and pretty much stole all that from me, and I had to fix myself for years, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't ever want people to be like, oh, that's so sad you went through that. I mean, there was a time, but I want people to see that no matter what you go through, you can get out of it if you really want to try your best to get out of it. You know what I mean? Right. So that was me. That's how everything got started with me. I fell in love, I thought, which was love with somebody that was important to me. And they took advantage of that.
Right. So when did you figure out that enough was enough and decide to pick up and go?
It was so many different aspects to it, and we could be here for hours, but we won't be back.
Yes, we will.
But you know, it was just too much. Once the manipulation came from family members when they got involved, to where I realized it didn't matter what state I took the person to, you know, with me too. When I got different opportunities in radio, it just never was going to change the person. And I think the last straw for me was, it was to the point where my daughter was sleeping with me and I had to sleep with my money in my private area.
Wow.
And I remember it was like 5 o'clock in the morning and he barged into the room and he was just like, you're going to give me money, because he was on drugs and etc. And when my daughter looked at me and she grabbed my face, she was just like, please make it stop. She was a child. She was young. And I just remember the way she looked and the way that moment felt. That was just it. And I just had enough. And it's a scary situation for a lot of women and a lot of men, because men are in abusive relationships too. They tend not to speak about it because they feel they're masculine, that'll take away from them. But people are in situations like that as well. And I just had enough.
Right.
I had enough of being, you know, stolen from mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. I had enough of being degraded. Here I am, this girl who's being given an opportunity by people who see something in me that I didn't see in myself. So while they're giving me this different level of success and allowing me to be this person, I couldn't be that person because he was too busy stealing from me. So I had to let it go.
Wow.
You know, I was raped while my daughter played in the next room. I was hit. I was hurt. He would do this thing called the come along, where I guess cops do this to you, and so they get you to come along. Like, so
wow.
Come along where you go. Yeah, it was bad. But I share my story because I want people to know you're not alone. And this, you know, I'm so thankful that you did this segment for domestic violence month. I apologize, my nose is all over the place. But this is something that goes on every day.
Yeah.
And the more we talk about it, the more we realize there are so many people who are in situations like I was, you know, and so we got to be more vocal about it. But it's for me, it's a long drawn out thing. I think I started messing up on my lifeline or my journey when somebody took my innocence as a 4-year-old. You know, and then when you don't have that father figure there, your mother's doing what she can to make the household work. Along that line, I lost my way and direction. And if I would have had that male figure, hey, boys are not supposed to do this. Hey, a real gentleman, because there are real good men in the world, are supposed to do this. This is what you should allow. You never stay in a relationship with this. You know, from a male figure, that would have helped. But everywhere I turned, nobody had a successful relationship in my family, so I had nothing to look up to, you know what I mean? So that's why I stayed for 15 years, and I don't look at it as time wasted. I just look at it as time learned.
See, that's a good thing. Now, what can you tell someone that's going through this? Like, how can you help? Can you share any resources with them is the question I want to ask. Can you share any resources to someone that wants to get out of this but can't find their way? Or can you share some words with them on what they need to do?
You know, first of all, the crazy thing is that back in those days, you know, we didn't have the resources we have now.
Right.
And one thing I fell in love with North Carolina, there's many reasons why I fell in love with North Carolina, first of all.
Dope.
But I love the fact that there were people that you can reach out to and talk to immediately.
Right.
In my personal opinion, if you know somebody in your family who's not going to be judgmental or share your business with somebody else and you know you're safe with them, then speak to somebody. But most importantly, I would just call 1-800-799-SAVE because they're always on their job. They're always available at any time to talk to you, you know, and just know that you're not alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just be careful. You know, there's a lot of people who have it worse than others. And if the person or the woman or man who is hurting you knows it's trying to get out, sometimes they set up things to hurt you. And sometimes they don't care about themselves, so they don't care about you. And it's a sticky situation.
Right.
So, like, when I was in North Carolina, I would be like, listen, just email me. You know, and in North Carolina, I helped out a friend. And I have helped a lot of people out since I've been here, but not as deep as I helped that friend out in North Carolina because it actually put my family in danger because the person so-called thought he was crazy, you know. But I would just say if you really want to get out, look for the right resources. Like I said, call 1-800-799-SAVE. Don't give up on that. Let them know what you need. There's a lot of great people in different areas that can help you, and that's a number that you can call no matter where you are. But never just sit somewhere. You weren't born to be hurt by somebody.
Right.
You know? You weren't born to have somebody put you in a box and make you feel like you're not worth something because that's what they're doing.
Right.
But if we knew our worth, we wouldn't allow ourselves to be in situations like that. But it's easier said than done because domestic violence never starts out with somebody hitting you. It always starts out with them knowing your weaknesses and then taking control of this. That's why I remember one time I said to a family member, I was telling this family member what I went through. And she looked at me and she was like, that could never be me. And she doesn't realize how much she's somebody I don't talk to anyway.
Right.
It really hurt my feelings. And I thought to myself, this is why a lot of people can't talk to their family. Thank God for the resources that are out there.
Right.
You know, here I am in California. I mean, excuse me, and who knows what God's doing.
Look at you claiming it.
No, but here I am in Colorado, and it's incredible how many people are in a situation like that.
Wow.
It's sad.
Wow.
So I know that God put me here to get this moving, and that's my job.
Because you're here for the women anyway. Not only women, you help everyone, but you inspire the women a lot, especially me.
Mama.
And I really thank you, Tasha. I know we're going to cut this short because I know you got something to do, boo. But I'm going to catch back up with you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Zooming lifestyle out here.
Oh, gosh. I know all about it. But look, just tell us where we can find you at on all social media platforms.
I'm all over social media. At TOSHAMAKIA, TOSHAMAKIA, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever. You can always go to KS1075.com. But at the end of the day, anybody that's in a situation, I love the fact that, like I said, you're highlighting this, the world is highlighting this, but this is something we got to keep talking about even after the fact. This is something we need to get to the schools at, once they are opening the schools. So here we are wearing our masks all the time, but this is something we got to make sure we target these kids with and really talk to them and let them know their worth, because when they're kids, right before that preteen, that's when they need to know, because a lot of their parents are at home working, and they're trying to do what they got to do for their household, but as long as we can get into these kids' heads to let them know how worthy they are, how amazing they are, how great they are, and how one person's opinion doesn't determine their outcome, we can help them avoid being survivors and being victorious like us. So I love you, and I'm thankful, and I'm so sorry this was cut short.
That's okay, because I'm going to see you again. We're going to pick back up. It's going to be long. We're going to have a good time. But, Tasha, I love you. Thank you so much for booming on the block with your girl, TishaRaye.
Boom!
Boom! And bye! I love you.